Kevin Gordon here from AutoSavant.com in the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. The supercharged V8 that has found its way across Chevy's line has finally landed in the Camaro with really pretty astonishing results, in all honesty. I will admit that I'm not the biggest fan of the Camaro. I don't think you can stay out of them. I think they're enormously large. And I don't think that the standard SS model is really all that much of a sports car. It's geared such tall gears that it really mutes any sort of the fun and the performance that you'd have in one. Well, they've managed to solve almost every bit of that in this car. It's true you can't see any out of it any better than you can the standard one, but the performance of it is just stunning. When your first gear pull on, it just gains speed so quickly and violently. The clutch is surprisingly stiff, but it's a short throw that's positive engagement, and the shifter wants to be in the same way. I mean, the 6-speed that's in this is an amazingly short throw for what it is, and it's a bit notchy, but it's would be really hard to miss shifts with. Other changes they've managed to make to the ZL1, they finally put a normal shaped steering wheel in it, which is a plus as far as I'm concerned. The steering itself, I don't really know what they did between this and the normal Camaro, but it is so much better in comparison. It's so much more direct, and there's so much more feedback. And of course, it's wrapped in micro suede, which leads to a pretty nice touch. The other thing that's important to note is that magnetic ride that they put under their performance cars these days. The shocks that have the metal filings in them that they can control the viscosity of dynamically, just completely changes this car from where it was with the SS to this one. It's actually hard to put into words how different this car is. And the other important note is I find that every time I get into a Cadillac CTS-V, even the ones with manual transmissions, I just don't think that they're all that fast. I mean, sure, they push you into the seat, but the way that this thing gains speed and the shove that it gets you, it's in a whole different league. It's almost like if you drive the ZR1 Corvette. It's hard to wrap your head around how much harder that car accelerates than even, say, a Z06. Well, this winds up being the exact same way compared to even like a CTS-V. It just has so much more grunt. Well, we haven't had the chance to drive the new GT500 yet, but I can see why, in the comparisons, this thing gives it a headache. Sure, the Mustang might have a little bit more ultimate grunt, but I don't know how much more you could actually really put to use. And the suspension tuning that's on this thing is game-changing. I mean, just a differentiator when you really get down to it. That's the other thing that the magnetic ride does, is it makes it so that hard launches are met with absolutely no wheel hop. It's stunning to think that from the original CTS-V, the original Cadillac with the Corvette motor, that wheel trumped and hopped all over with their independent rubber suspension. They've come this far, this fast, as a brand and as a performance line. This thing, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it is. And I know it's just 5 or 6 minutes of a rave. No really qualitative information about the car, or quantitative for that matter. But it's important to note that if you're in the market for a car like this, before driving it, I would have absolutely steered you to your Ford dealership. After this, I may actually change direction on that, which is really pretty amazing, because the other thing about this car is with the magnetic ride, you put it in comfort mode from a transmission perspective, and it's friendly, and I just can't tell you how different the steering is. Anyway, I'll stop sitting here and telling you all the things that I can't tell you. Hopefully we get a chance to spend a little bit more time with the ZL1 in the future and do a full deep dive test for it. As usual, I'm Kevin Gordon from AutoSavant.com. I look forward to talking to you guys soon.